Imagine, if you will, that your mind is a garden. Every thought you enter and entertain, every belief you nurture, is a seed planted in this fertile soil of consciousness. And just as surely as a planted seed grows into a flower or a tree, your thoughts and beliefs grow into the circumstances of your life. Now I ask you, what seeds are you planting in this garden of your mind? Are they seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation? Or are they seeds of faith, love, and infinite possibility? For make no mistake, my dear friends, the harvest of your life will be determined by the seeds you sow in the present moment. But how, you may ask, does this process work? How does the invisible realm of thought translate into the visible realm of experience? The answer lies in the very nature of consciousness itself. You see, consciousness is the only reality. The world you perceive around you is not separate from you, but a reflection of your inner state. When you truly grasp this truth, when you internalize it not just as an intellectual concept, but as a lived experience, you will hold in your hands the key to unlocking the treasures of the universe. For if consciousness is the only reality, and your thoughts shape your consciousness, then by controlling your thoughts, you control your reality. Let me illustrate this with a simple exercise. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a lemon. See its vibrant yellow skin. Feel its waxy texture beneath your fingers. Now imagine cutting this lemon in half, the juice running down your hands. Bring the lemon to your lips and take a big bite. What happened? Did you not feel your mouth water? Did you not experience the tangy sensation as if you had actually bitten into a lemon? And yet there was no physical lemon. It was all in your imagination. This, my friends, is the power of focused thought. Your body responded to an imaginary stimulus as if it were real. Now extend this understanding to every aspect of your life. Just as your body responded to the imagined lemon, the universe responds to your focused thoughts and beliefs. If you consistently focus on lack, you will experience lack. If you consistently focus on abundance, you will experience abundance. But remember, it is not enough to merely think positive thoughts in a superficial manner. True transformation comes from a deeper place. It comes from assumption. You must assume the feeling of wishful wish fulfilled. You must live from the end, experiencing in your imagination the reality you desire as if it were already manifest. Let's delve deeper into this concept of assumption. When I speak of assumption, I am not referring to mere positive thinking or affirmations. I am speaking of a total transformation of your inner state. You must become in consciousness the person you wish to be in reality. Suppose you desire financial abundance. It is not enough to simply repeat affirmations about wealth. You must assume the state of wealth consciousness. How would you feel if you were already financially abundant? How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would occupy your mind? You see, the outer world is a mirror reflecting your inner assumptions. If you assume poverty, if you live in a state of lack consciousness, the outer world will faithfully reflect this back to you. But if you assume abundance, if you live from the state of wealth consciousness, the universe has no choice but to reshape itself to match your assumption. This is the law of attraction in its purest form. It is not about wishing for things to change. It is about changing yourself first in consciousness and allowing the outer world to conform to your new state of being. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, I have tried positive thinking before and nothing changed. To this I say, you have not yet grasped the power of your imagination. You have not yet learned to live from the end. Living from the end means experiencing in your imagination, with all the vividness of reality, the state you desire to manifest. It means feeling the feelings, thinking the thoughts, and even performing the actions in your mind's eye as if your desire were already fulfilled. Let me give you a practical example. Suppose you desire a promotion at work. Instead of anxiously wondering if you will get the promotion or desperately affirming that you will, you must assume the state of already having received the promotion. In your imagination, feel the satisfaction of sitting in your new office. Experience the pride as you tell your loved ones about your new position. Feel the weight of the increased responsibility and the excitement of new challenges. Make this imaginal act so real that when you open your eyes, you are surprised to find yourself back in your current circumstances. This, my friends, is the art of living from the end. And when you master this art, you will have mastered the art of deliberate creation. For your outer world has no choice but to reshape itself to match your inner experience. But some of you may be wondering, what about action? Don't we need to take action to achieve our goals? And to this, I say inspired action will naturally flow from your assumed state. When you truly live from the end, when you fully embody the consciousness of your desire fulfilled, you will be guided to take precisely the right actions at precisely the right time. You see, action taken from a state of lack or desperation is rarely effective. It is often frantic, misguided, and ultimately futile. But action taken from a state of fulfillment, from the calm certainty that your desire is already yours, is powerful beyond measure. This is why I say that changing your concept of self is the most important work you can do. For when you change your concept of self, when you assume a new state of consciousness, everything else changes automatically. Your actions, your decisions, your very way of being in the world shift to align with your new self-concept. Now let us explore some practical tips for personal growth based on this understanding. The first and most crucial step is to become aware of your current mental diet. What thoughts do you habitually entertain? What beliefs do you hold about yourself and the world? Are these thoughts and beliefs serving you, or are they limiting you? Most people through life on autopilot, unconsciously repeating the same patterns of thought day after day. But you, my dear friends, are not most people. You are here because you seek transformation. And transformation begins with awareness. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue. Notice the running commentary in your mind. Is it supportive and empowering, or is it critical and discouraging? Remember that these thoughts are the seeds you are planting in the garden of your faith. Choose them wisely. Once you become aware of your thought patterns, the next step is to consciously choose new thoughts that align with your desires. But remember, it's not about forcing yourself to think positively. It's about choosing thoughts that feel natural and true to you. If you currently believe that you are unworthy of love, for example, trying to force yourself to believe I am worthy of love might feel inauthentic and create inner resistance. Instead, you might start with a thought that feels more believable, such as I am open to the possibility that I am worthy of love. As you consistently focus on this new thought, as you nurture it and give it your attention, it will grow stronger. Eventually, it will become your dominant belief, replacing the old limiting belief. This process of consciously choosing your thoughts is the foundation of personal growth. It is the art of mental gardening, of cultivating the mind to produce the harvest you desire in your life. But thought alone is not enough. To truly transform your life, you must combine thought with feeling. This is where the power of imagination to play. Your imagination is the bridge between thought and feeling. It is the creative power that can make your desires feel real to you before they manifest in the physical world. I urge you to set aside time each day for conscious imagination. Create a mental scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and real as possible. Engage all your senses. Feel the emotions you would feel if your desire were already fulfilled. For instance, if you desire a loving relationship, imagine yourself in a scene where you are with your perfect partner. Feel the warmth of their embrace. Hear their loving words. Experience the joy and contentment of being in a fulfilling relationship. As you practice this imaginal act, you will notice something remarkable. The feelings generated by your imagination will begin to spill over into your waking life. You will start to feel more loved, more worthy of love, even before a physical relationship manifests. This is the power of living from the end. By consistently assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are reshaping your consciousness. As your consciousness changes, your reality must change to match it. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what if negative thoughts and doubts creep in? What if I can't maintain this positive focus all the time? My friends, this is a natural part of the process. The key is not to fight against negative thoughts or to berate yourself for having them. Instead, gently redirect your focus back to your desired state. Think of it like training a puppy. When the puppy wanders off, you don't punish it. You gently guide it back to where you want it to be. Treat your mind with the same patience and kindness. When you notice your thoughts straying towards doubt or fear, simply guide them back to your desired state. Remember, what you resist persists. Fighting against negative thoughts only gives them more power. Instead, acknowledge them without judgment, and then choose to focus on thoughts that serve you better. This brings us to another crucial aspect of personal growth: self-love and self-acceptance. Many people make the mistake of thinking they need to change themselves in order to be worthy of love or success. But the truth is, true transformation comes from a place of self-acceptance, not self-rejection. You are in this moment perfect and united. Yes, you may desire to grow and evolve, but this desire comes from a place of love for yourself, not from a place of lack or unworthiness. When you truly love and accept yourself as you are, you create the fertile soil from which all growth springs. Practice looking at yourself through eyes of love. Speak to yourself with kindness and compassion. Celebrate your strengths and accept your perceived weaknesses with equal grace. For it is only when you fully accept yourself that you give yourself permission to say and change. Now let's talk about the role of gratitude in personal growth. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion. It is a powerful creative force. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you are effectively telling the universe, more of this, please. Make gratitude a daily practice. Each morning when you wake up and each night before you go to sleep, take a few moments to count your blessings. Feel the genuine emotion of thankfulness for all that is good in your life. But don't stop at being grateful for what you already have. Practice gratitude for what is coming, for the desires that are in the process of manifesting. Feel thankful for them as if they were already here. This is another way of living from the end, of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. As you cultivate this attitude of gratitude, you will find that more and more things come into your life for which to be grateful. It becomes a beautiful, self-perpetuating cycle of abundance and joy. Now, my dear friends, I want to address a question that often arises when discussing the law of attraction and the power of focused thought. Some ask if our thoughts create our reality. Are we responsible for everything that happens to us, even the bad things? This is a nuanced question that requires a compassionate understanding. While it's true that our dominant thoughts and beliefs shape our experience, we are not always consciously aware of all our beliefs, especially those deeply ingrained in our subconscious mind. Moreover, we are part of a collective consciousness, and sometimes events occur that reflect collective beliefs rather than individual ones. The key is not to blame yourself for undesired circumstances, but to recognize that you always have the power to choose your response to any situation. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience for my growth? This shift in perspective transforms challenges into opportunities for evolution and self-discovery. Remember, every experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, is an opportunity to know yourself more deeply and to consciously choose who you want to be. In this way, even seemingly negative experiences can be transmuted into catalysts for personal growth. Now let us delve into the concept of persistence. Personal growth is not always a smooth, linear process. There will be times when you feel as if nothing is changing, when your desired reality seems far away. It is in these moments that persistence becomes crucial. Persistence doesn't mean forcing or struggling. It means maintaining your assumption regardless of appearances. It means continuing to live from the end, even when the outer world hasn't yet caught up with your inner reality. Think of it like planting a seed. Once you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust in the natural process of growth. You continue to water it and provide the right conditions, knowing that due time it will sprout and flourish. Similarly, once you plant the seed of your desire in your consciousness through your imaginal acts, you must have faith in the process. Continue to nurture it with your attention and emotion, but release the anxiety about when or how it will manifest. This release, this letting go, is not indifference. It is deep trust in the perfect unfolding of your desire. It is the confident expectation of a child on Christmas Eve, knowing that their gifts will be there in the morning. As you persist in your assumption, as you continue to live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you will begin to notice changes. At first, they may be subtle, a shift in your mood, a new idea, an unexpected opportunity. These are signs that your outer world is beginning to conform to your inner state. Celebrate these signs, no matter how small they may seem. Your gratitude and excitement will further amplify the manifestation process. But don't become attached to these specific signs. Keep your focus on the end result, on the complete fulfillment of your desire. Now, I want to address a common pitfall in personal growth, the trap of constantly seeking outside yourself for answers or validates. While books, teachers, and techniques can be valuable tools, true transformation always comes from within. You are the operant power in your life. No one else can do your imagining for you. No one else can assume your desired state for you. The power to change your life lies within your own consciousness. This is why I often say, go within. All the wisdom of the universe, all the power you need to transform your life is already within you. Your task is not to acquire something new, but to awaken to what you already are. When you go within, when you quiet the chatter of the external world and listen to the voice of your own being, you tap into an infinite source of wisdom and power. This is the essence of meditation and contemplation, not to achieve some special state, but to become aware of your true nature. In this state of inner quietude, you may receive insights for inspirations. Trust these. Act on them. They are your inner guidance leading you towards the fulfillment of your desires. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. As you cultivate inner peace, clarity, and joy, your outer world will inevitably reflect these qualities back to you. This is why personal growth is the most powerful way to change your life circumstances. Now let us talk about the importance of living in the present moment. Many people postpone their happiness, thinking I'll be happy when I get that job or find that relationship or achieve that goal. But this is a trap, my friends. It keeps you always chasing, never arriving. The secret is to find joy in the present moment, even as you work towards your desires. Remember, your point of power is always in the present. It is only in the now that you can choose your thoughts, feel your emotions, and take inspired action. Moreover, when you learn to enjoy the journey, to find satisfaction in the process of growth itself, you open yourself to even greater possibilities. You become detached from specific outcomes, which paradoxically makes those outcomes more likely to manifest. This doesn't mean you abandon your desires or become complacent. It means you trust in the perfect unfolding of your life, knowing that every moment is bringing you closer to the full expression of your true self. As we near the end of our discussion, I want to emphasize the importance of taking inspired action. While the inner work, imagination, and assumption is crucial, it must be paired with outer action for full manifestation. However, this action comes from a different place than conventional goal setting or striving. It comes from a place of alignment with your assumed state, when you truly live from the end, when you fully embody the consciousness of your desire fulfilled. You will be naturally inspired to take the right actions at the right times. These inspired actions often feel effortless, joyful, may not make logical sense to your rational meaning, but they will feel right on a deeper late. Trust these inspirations. Act on them promptly and decisively. Remember, you are not taking action to make your desire happen. You are taking action because in your assumed reality, this is simply what you naturally do. This subtle shift in perspective makes all the difference. In conclusion, my dear friends, I want to remind you of the immense power you hold within you. You are not a helpless victim of circumstances, but the creator of your reality. Your focus, your imagination, your assumptions shape the world you experience. Choose wisely what you give your attention to. Cultivate thoughts and feelings that align with your desires. Live from the end, assuming the state of your wish fulfilled. Practice gratitude, self-love, and present moment awareness. Take inspired action from a place of alignment and joy. And above all, persist. Persist in your assumption, persist in your faith, persist in your knowledge that what you seek is already yours in consciousness. For remember, consciousness is the only reality, and you are that consciousness. You are the operant power in your life. You are the miracle you seek. Embrace this truth, live from this understanding, and watch as your life transforms in wonderful and unexpected ways. Go forth now, not as seekers, but as finders, not as hopeful dreamers, but as conscious creators. For you are the power, you are the miracle, you are the divine expression of life itself. Thank you for your attention, my friends. May your journey of personal growth be filled with joy, wonder, and the continual unfolding of your infinite potential. I wish to share with you a profound truth that has eluded countless individuals in their pursuit of their desires. The very reason most people remain trapped in their current circumstances, unable to manifest their dreams, lies in their misunderstanding of one fundamental principle. You see, the world you experience at this very moment is nothing more than the outward projection of your inner assumptions. Every success, every failure, every circumstance in your life is a direct reflection of what you have accepted as true in your consciousness. The key step that most people miss, and this is crucial, is that they fail to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. They pray, they hope, they work hard, but they continue to live from their current state of consciousness rather than the state they desire to express. Let me explain this more deeply. When you want something, be it wealth, love, success, or any other desire, you must first understand that it already exists in what I call the fourth dimensional world. This is the world of infinite possibilities, the world of imagination, where all things already exist in their perfect form. The secret lies not in working towards your desire, but in accepting that you already possess it. This is where most people stumble. They continue to see their desire as something to be achieved in the future, thereby perpetuating the state of wanting rather than having. Think for a moment. When you say, I want to be successful, you are actually confirming and reinforcing your current state of lack. You are declaring to your subconscious mind that success is something outside of you, something you don't currently possess. This very assumption keeps you locked in the state of wanting. Instead, you must dare to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. If you desire success, you must go about your day feeling successful, thinking from success, acting from success, not as a future state to be achieved, but as a present fact. This is not mere positive thinking or affirmation. This is a complete transformation of your consciousness. You must feel the naturalness of being what you want to be. If you desire wealth, you must feel wealthy now. If you desire love, you must feel loved now. If you desire success, you must feel successful now. The power of your assumption, when persisted in, becomes your reality. This is law. Just as the seed contains within itself the full potential of the mature plant, your consciousness contains within itself the full potential of all you desire to be. Most people live their entire lives never realizing that their imagination is actually the very substance of reality. They see imagination as mere fantasy, as something separate from what they call reality. But I tell you this, your imagination is reality itself in its first stage of manifestation. Consider this, everything you now accept as real in your world was once only imagined. The chair you're sitting on, the clothes you're wearing, the building you're in, all were first imagined before they became what you now accept as reality. This is the pattern of creation. The same principle applies to your desires. The state you wish to occupy already exists in your imagination. It is as real as anything you now accept as fact. The only difference is your assumption about what is real and what is imagined. Let me share with you a profound truth. You never attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is determined by the state you occupy in consciousness. This is why affirmations alone often fail. You cannot affirm externally what you deny internally. The key step that people miss is the complete surrender to the state desired. They try to make things happen instead of allowing things to happen through the natural law of assumption. They stand outside their desire, looking at it instead of living from within it. When you truly grasp this principle, you will understand that there is nothing to change but your assumptions about yourself and your world. The outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. This is law. Many of you sit here tonight thinking, yes, but how do I change my assumptions? The answer is simpler than you might imagine. Yet it requires a complete reversal of your traditional thinking. Instead of working hard to achieve something, you must assume that you already have it. The art of assumption is the most vital skill you must master. When you assume a state, you must persist in that state until it becomes your dominant feeling. This is where people falter. They test the law instead of proving it through persistent assumption. Let me tell you something profound. Your consciousness is the only reality. Right now, as you sit here, you might believe that your senses define reality. But I tell you, your senses only show you what your consciousness has already accepted as true. Think about this carefully. Every night when you sleep, you enter different states in your dreams. In those dreams, you experience sights, sounds, and sensations that feel completely real. Where do these experiences come from? They come from consciousness itself. They come from consciousness deliberately creating these experiences. The difference between your dream state and your waking state is only in the intensity of your assumption. What you now consider reality is simply a more intense and persistent dream that you've collectively agreed upon. Now, here's where most people miss the crucial step. They fail to understand that they can wake up from their current dream, their current state, by assuming a new state with the same intensity that they assume their present state. You see, at this very moment, you are assuming certain things about yourself. You're assuming your name, your job, your relationships, your financial status. These assumptions feel so natural to you that you don't even question them. This is the key. Whatever you assume with complete conviction must externalize itself in your world. But here's the vital truth that most miss. You can assume something new with the same naturalness. This is not pretense. This is not make-believe. This is the creative use of the same power that sustains your present assumptions. When you go to sleep tonight, you naturally assume you're in your bed. You don't question it. You don't doubt it. This same unquestioning acceptance must be applied to your desired state. Listen carefully now, for this is where the secret of manifestation lies. When you assume your desire fulfilled, you must do it with the same naturalness with which you assume your bed is real when you lie down to sleep. This naturalness is the key that most seekers miss. Your imagination, when properly directed, is not mere daydreaming. It is the very substance of reality. Every time you imagine something, you are literally creating a mold into which the substance of your world will flow. But, and this is crucial, you must remain faithful to your imaginal act. Most people perform an imaginal act and then return to their old state of consciousness. They imagine themselves wealthy for a moment, then open their eyes and react to their current financial situation. This vacillation between states prevents the manifestation of their desire. You must understand this. The moment you assume a new state, your entire world must rearrange itself to accommodate your new assumption. This is law. But you must give it time to externalize. The seed must have time to grow. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. Time is not a distance to be traveled. It is a sequence of states to be experienced. When you assume your desire fulfilled, you have actually entered the state where your desire exists. The time it takes to externalize is merely the time required for you to feel natural in that state. Most people fail because they don't grasp this truth. The feeling of naturalness is the key. If being wealthy feels unnatural to you, if being loved feels unnatural, if success feels unnatural, then you are not truly occupying that state. You are merely visiting it in your imagination. You must persist in your new state until it feels just as natural as your present state now feels. This is where faith comes in. Not faith in some external power, but faith in the law that consciousness is the only reality. When you truly grasp this, you will understand that there is nothing to change but your conception of self. Change that, and you change your entire world. Now, let me share with you something profound about the nature of your consciousness. Your I amness, your awareness of being, is God himself individualized. When you say I am, you are proclaiming the name of God, for that is the true name of God. I am that I am. A fatal mistake that most people make is that they do not understand this power of I am. They use it unconsciously, carelessly, not realizing that whatever follows I am is what they are decreeing into existence. When you say, I am poor, I am sick, I am unlucky, you are literally commanding these states into being. This is the key step that people miss. They do not watch their assumptions. Every time you react to an event, every time you speak about yourself, you are setting into motion the law that shapes your world. Your I am is your consciousness, and your consciousness is the only reality. Consider this. Right now, you are saying, I am, to everything you accept as true about yourself. These assumptions have become so natural that you don't even recognize them as assumptions. They feel like facts. But I tell you, they are only facts because you have given them the power of your assumption. The secret of manifestation lies in transferring your awareness from one state to another. You must cease to be the person you believe yourself to be and assume the consciousness of the person you wish to be. This is not pretense. This is the creative use of the only power that exists. When you say, I am successful, I am wealthy, I am loved, you are not lying to yourself. You are actually entering into that state in consciousness. And since consciousness is the only reality, you are literally creating that reality. But, and this is crucial, you must persist in that state until it feels natural. This is where most people fail. They make a bold declaration of what they want to be, but they don't persist until it feels natural. They don't give the seed time to grow. You see, manifestation follows a divine pattern. Just as a seed must be planted and given time to grow, your assumption must be planted in consciousness and given time to externalize. The law operates with mathematical precision. Whatever you are conscious of being, you will manifest. There is no other way. This is why your current world perfectly reflects your past assumption. Every detail of your life, every relationship, every circumstance is the flowering of seeds you have planted in your consciousness. Most people spend their lives trying to change things on the outside while maintaining the same consciousness. They try to change their world while remaining in the same state. This is like trying to harvest different fruits while planting the same seeds. It is against law. Listen carefully now, for I am about to share with you the secret of effective prayer. True prayer is not begging or beseeching an external power. True prayer is assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When you pray, you must pray believing that you have already received. This is where faith enters. But faith is not what most people think it is. Faith is not believing that something will happen in the future. Faith is accepting as fact what your senses deny. It is living from the end, feeling the reality of your desire fulfilled, while your senses tell you otherwise. Most people miss this crucial step. They pray and then look for evidence of answer. But I tell you, the evidence will only appear after you have persisted in your assumption. You must live as though your prayer has already been answered. Think about this. When you order something from a catalog, you don't keep ordering it over and over. You place the order once and then wait for its delivery. The same is true with your desires. You place your order with consciousness by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. And then you wait in the absolute confidence that it must externalize. But here's the vital point that most miss. While you're waiting, you must maintain the consciousness of having already received. You must live from the end. Your actions, your words, your attitudes must all spring from the assumption that your desire is already a fact. This is not easy, I know. The evidence of your senses will constantly try to pull you back to your old state. But you must persist. You must remain faithful to your assumption, despite all evidence to the contrary. Now, let me share with you another crucial aspect that most people overlook. Your consciousness is not confined to your physical body. Your consciousness extends to everything you are aware of. Therefore, when you change your consciousness, you change everything that falls within its range. This is why you cannot change others directly. You can only change them by changing your consciousness of them. Whatever you consciously assume about another must be manifested in your relationship with them. This is law. Most people try to change others through external means, through persuasion, through force, through manipulation. But I tell you, the only way to change another is to change your consciousness of them. Change your assumption about them, and they must conform to your new assumption. This applies to every area of your life. Your financial situation, your health, your relationships, all are simply outpicturings of your assumptions. When you change your assumption, the whole vast world must change to reflect your new consciousness. But here's where people stumble. They do not persist in their new assumption long enough for it to become natural. They venture into a new state of consciousness, but retreat at the first sign of contradiction. They are like farmers who dig up the seed to see if it's growing. You must understand this. The time between your assumption and its manifestation is not a period of inaction. It is a period of gestation. Just as a pregnant woman carries her child while going about her normal activities, you must carry your assumption while continuing with your daily life. During this period, you may face what seem to be contradictions to your assumption. Your senses may tell you that nothing has changed. This is the time when most people abandon their assumption and return to their old state. But I tell you, these apparent contradictions are actually signs that the law is working. Just as a seed must first dissolve before it can grow, your old conditions must often appear to worsen before they give way to your new state. This is law. The old must die for the new to be born. Therefore, I tell you this with absolute certainty. The key step that most people miss is not in the doing, but in the being. They focus on what they must do to achieve their desires, when they should be focusing on what they must be. Remember this eternal truth. Your world is yourself, pushed out. Everything you see, everything you experience is simply yourself externalized. There is no one to change but self. When you change your concept of self, you change your entire world. The great secret of life is this. There is no one to tell you no except yourself. There is no one to deny you except yourself. There is no one to delay your good except yourself. You are the power you have been seeking. You are the authority you have been waiting for. In closing, let me give you this final crucial understanding. Tonight, as you leave this place, you have a choice. You can continue to live from your old assumptions, thereby perpetuating your current conditions. Or you can dare to assume a new state of consciousness, thereby creating a new world. The choice is yours, and yours alone. But remember this: whatever state you assume, whatever concept you hold of yourself, will externalize itself in your world with mathematical precision. This is not theory, and this is law. So I say to you, dare to assume that you are what you want to be. Dare to enter into the state of your wish fulfilled. Dare to live from the end, for in this daring lies the key that most people miss. The key to all manifestation. Go forth now, not to make things happen, but to allow things to happen by virtue of your changed consciousness. Go forth, not to achieve, but to receive what is already yours by right of consciousness. Go forth, not to become, but to be what you desire to be. For I tell you this, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and that kingdom contains all that you could ever desire. Your assumption is the key that unlocks this kingdom. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, use it persistently. And remember always, you are the operant power. You are the consciousness through which all things emerge. You are the God of your universe, and your consciousness is the only reality. The state you assume today is the world you will experience tomorrow. Choose wisely, persist faithfully, and watch as your world transforms itself to match your assumption. That is all, and that is enough.